cultured butter, an Australian cultured butter. It's very similar to beurre de baratte that they make in France, which is butter of the churn. So it's the least processed way of making butter, and I believe that's the best butter to eat. The cream comes in. We usually like to ripen the cream a little bit just in the cool room for about a week. Then the cream basically gets poured into vats. Then we heat that cream to 40 degrees. Then we add in a lactobacillus culture. Once we add it into the cream at that temperature and leave it overnight, it multiplies. The bacteria eats the lactose in the cream and converts into lactic acid. So in a sense, we're turning the cream that we've brought in from the farms into soured cream, in our case, creme fraiche. Then once that's happened, we can age the cream anywhere up to 3 to 4 weeks and then churn. In the 2,000 litre churn, we put 1,000 litres of creme fraiche in, and we get 500 litres of buttermilk and 500 kilos of butter, approximately. After the butter's been churned, we drain out the buttermilk, but there's still a remaining buttermilk on the butter. So we have to get rid of that buttermilk. So we wash it with very cold water at about 2 degrees. Once the buttermilk's washed off, we knead the butter, and then we dump it out onto the trolleys. We go through 20,000 litres of cream a week, and that gives us 10,000 kilos of butter per week.
Pepe and I started the business in 2010. We were in the food industry already, where we were preparing handmade desserts for grab-and-go style for retail market. And we had about 200 litres of fresh cream left over. This was during Christmas period. Well, Pepe actually said, I'm going to turn this cream into butter. He made what's called a sweet butter. So there was no culturing in it, and it was okay. Then from there he was like, how can I make this butter taste better? And he found that using a culture, because there was no other Australian butter makers here making what's called a cultured butter. And talking to a lot of the chefs, they were using imported butters from Europe. And it was like, why are you guys importing your butter so far? You have people coming and visiting Australia, dining in a beautiful restaurant on Sydney Harbour, and they're being served a European butter.
So we used to make all the little 15-gram portions by hand, and in around 2014, we got to a point where we couldn't continue doing that because of the labour cost. We started a journey to look for the right packaging machine. Now, unbeknownst to us, when we first started, we have this beautiful round package, and we wanted to keep our brand round. We didn't want to change it. There was a lot of off-the-shelf rectangle and even square, but nothing round. We finally found someone in France that could retool a machine, and we found this beautiful old Klustner machine that used to make the laughing cow triangles, and it's about 50 years old, the actual machine. It's just very old school technology, which can be challenging at some times, because for every 5 hours it's on, you need 2 hours of maintenance on it. So it is challenging, but I think it's worth it. I still say today we made the right decision, because otherwise we would have just been like a mass-produced style butter in the plastic or that the rectangular foil, which I think this one looks so much better.